te rā tuatoru o te Pāwhutupōro Trans Tasman Series ki ngā Waipunawai Sports Hub ki o Tautahi Christchurch. Ko Maya Williams tēnei, maua ko Rhys Allen, he kai whakapāho mō tēnei rā. Rhys, good morning, mate. We are greeted once again by an absolutely stunning Christchurch day.
Yeah, mihi ana ki a koe, Maya o ti rā, te whānau whānui, e mātakitaki ana I tēnei rā tuatoru, te rā whakamutunga o tēnei o nā momo whakataita kei Wainganui I nei o nā whenua, te whenua moimoia, ki a Aotearoa, nā reira, e mihi ana ki a tātou katoa. Yep, day 3, Maya. We've got a test series on the line this morning, and no better way to start, but beautiful, crisp morning this morning here in Ōtautahi, Christchurch. I believe we're sitting at about 11 degrees, which is balmy at this time of the morning, and very little breeze. Great conditions, but on the ground, just walking across, it's very dewy. I'm expecting a lot of tight low game today.
We've just seen two graphics. First was the day 1 results, and up now we have the day 2 results. Unfortunately, for the New Zealand contingent, an Australian team winning all 3 games, we had an opportunity for the Touchwack Mixed Open team to take that series out, but they didn't. The Australians got up, and there's our schedule for today. The first one starts at 9 o'clock, right around the corner, and that's between our Open Mixed from New Zealand and Australia. The series is still alive, 1-1 going into this one. This is the match that everyone's turning up to see. Then after that, 10-10, Open Women's. We've seen a fantastic improvement from the New Zealand Open Women's team, and I know they'll be once again trying to improve from that. I'm sure Australia have gone away, though, and they've found a way to combat what it is the Kiwis did. And then we finish off this 2025 Trans Tasman Test Series with our Open Men's. That in the last seconds of the game got called for an obstruction, which would have tied the game up. We would have been going to a drop-off, and who knows what happened. What did happen was Australia won that Test Series, and again are the Trans Tasman champions. Now we see the sun beaming in on the grandstand. I'm going to say there's going to be a lot more people in there today, Rhys. Unfortunately, when our game started at 2, the sun was behind the stadium. It was a icebox today. It seems like the place to be.
Oh, 100%. This time of morning, the sun beams into that grandstand there on the southern side of Ngā Punawai Sports Hub, and there's sunglasses out. But you can see there's plenty of coffee and hot chocolates being drunk up there. Mike Daly, Pete Walters having a little bit of a hui. Legends of our game here in New Zealand, and it's great to see them here nice and early and looking to support New Zealand.
Well, you see 2 of the referees for this upcoming match. Richie Heap from New Zealand, John Dusto, top referee in New Zealand, also obviously from New Zealand, Peter McIntyre just making his way into the screen. And joining them will be Tony Calabria, the 3rd referee in this group. Fantastic group of referees. We've seen them perform very well yesterday, which allowed that game to be open and flow from end to end. The penalty count was a little bit reduced from day 1. So hoping again, referees, 2 jobs. 1, keep them apart, and 2, stay out of it.
Yeah, 100%. Looking up on the screen there, life member from Australia, Touch Football Australia, and one of our legends of our game, our GOAT down here in Canterbury, Scotty Grant, Nita Boyd, here nice and early to watch. Huge supporters of our game, but look, I'm looking forward to this one, Maya. This is, live series on the line, the only one of the 3, and it's all on, and it's great that it's a nice cool morning, but things are going to heat up really quickly.
They are, definitely, and there's some whānau from up the Whitianga, back in the mighty Coromandel. John Dusto, this is his last game that he'll be refereeing at the international level, at the national level, retired from the national level at the last Nationals. And this will be his last Test Series. And it's likely to be Richie's too. He also decided to hang the boots up after this one. I just wonder whether those boots are starting to slip off the hook that he hung them up on. He's absolutely riffing at his best. And then we've got Tony Calabria, who has been at the top of the game for a long time and will continue to be for a long time. So fantastic group of referees. Got a really hot game. It's a contest. The series is alive. You need the best, and it's great that these 3 are here. I'm not going to ask you who's going to win, because we both made comments on that yesterday and it didn't turn out so well. What I am going to ask you, though, Rhys, as we see the Australian team come out as they'll line up for their national anthem, is what do New Zealand need to do differently to get the result that they didn't get yesterday?
Well, there must have been some disruption in the team lineup, because we had girls moving between link and wing. They looked a little bit off the pace. They just needed to have a really good warm-up this morning and And Australia just looked like they had the edge right from the national anthem. A lot of the times at this level, it's the last 2 or 3% in terms of preparation, and that's just not physical, that's mental as well. So I think mentally they need to be up for the battle, because we know they've got the talent. They got Test 1 and they had that relatively comfortably. They just need to go and get this one and be fully prepared.
Yeah, well, after the national anthem, both teams will get another 3 minutes. And both you and I were commenting during that 3 minutes, the Australian team, they were on something else. There's something different in that water bottle. The noise that was coming out was just next level. I'm going to say I probably haven't heard that type of noise, that synergy within a team as they go out. Whereas we looked on the other side and it seemed to be a little bit more calmer, a little bit more composed. And I tell you what, the energy that Australian team went out onto the field with, as you said, was there displayed throughout the whole 40 minutes.
Yeah, and that's good coaching, that's good review. They might have picked that up in Test 1, that they weren't quite on right from the get-go. But also, coaches can't do everything. Those last couple of minutes before a test, before any game, leadership needs to take over. And obviously there's some really strong leadership with Bart's in the coach. In this lineup, and it was obvious. It was obvious, and then they just ran away with that game in the second test.
We see the New Zealand team making their way out, and unfortunately, you see second in that line is Cody Totiet. Unfortunately, did her knee in an operation. Seems like it's on the horizon for her. Sadly, it seemed like her not being there, her absence in game 2 had a huge impact, particularly defensively. She's an outstanding player, the reason why she's co-captain. And I wonder if I'm sure they have, the coaching team has gone away, reviewed their game and looked at how they can make it so that her not being there isn't as such a bigger impact as it was yesterday.
Yeah, well, obviously in the women's game, usually it's a 9-5 split in your 14 players, and when she got injured and then going into the next game, they would have had to have made a shuffle. You know, you bank on your top-end players being available for every moment of every match. So hugely affected, but they've had another night to prepare for this last test, decider. Doesn't get much better than this, so hopefully New Zealand can really put it to the Australian side.
Here we have the first of our national anthems, which will be for the Australian team. Take these in. We'll be right back with more pre-match comms. There we have it again, Reece, for the last time for these two teams. The national anthem of both countries. This is, for me now, this is a really telling part as our cameras look towards this Australian team. As we see them warming up, I'm just looking at body language and energy. Australian team, they race away from that national anthem. They're straight into their warm-up. Their noise levels up. See the Kiwis just a little bit more chill as they head across and take their uniforms off. It sounds like we're making a lot out of nothing potentially, Reece, but I just have to say, yesterday I thought there was a difference.
I'm a huge believer in preparation right to the last minute. Maya, and you're calling it as it is, and I suppose that's our job here. Hopefully not. Hopefully they have their own plan, and I can see New Zealand are starting to build into their work a little bit nicely here. Same kind of warm-up system, using the ball. Communication is running with these Australian teams. And you mentioned yesterday about the national anthem. I think that was the one that hit me the most, thinking back to a lot of people that I've been involved in with New Zealand Touch, and all the time and energy spent into it, and seeing the a lot of our famous, well-known people in the grandstand. Man, this game's on, and I'm already standing by. I'm good to go.
We see a lot of particularly in New Zealand, our Polynesian players get together and do a karakia after often games. The pitches don't quite catch it, but I've just seen our referees get together and do their own karakia. So it's pretty cool. It means a lot to everyone involved, right? Yes, it is New Zealand versus Australia, but it's a privilege and an honour to be part of this thing. And both of us got nerves too. A number of the touchdowns we've just seen here play through of yesterday's game. Australia pretty dominant. A couple of uncharacteristic tries that they scored. Soft, we'd probably call them, when we Reece.
Yeah, yep, definitely. And for me, yesterday with the Australian mixed side, Luke Osborne, I thought he was great yesterday. He was full of energy. He's the bigger of the player in terms of his height. Got great speed, and he really showed defensively and offensively his ability, and I guess warrants his selection in this Australian mixed open side. Yeah,
Cox, Bartz, Moffat, Jones, fantastic games yesterday, but it was the girls. I thought Kate Hammond had an outstanding game, defensively in particular, and then when you put her with Jessica Potts, just a solid performer. You know what you're going to get from her every time. The 2-minute music has started, the heart rate starting to go, and all I need to do is sit here and talk. Such is the occasion, Reece. This is really the game of today, isn't it? Yes, all teams will be wanting to win their remaining game, but Test Series alive. Can this be the one New Zealand team that can win a Test Series for New Zealand? It's been a while since we've had that opportunity. In Australia, they won't be taking a step back at all. They'll be wanting to absolutely put the foot to the throat. They dominated game 2, and they won't want anything different. Actually, a bit of information, Reece, that got told by the coaches when we were talking about their gill rotation. They were saying, this is the Kiwi teams. Didn't you see what happened? Kira Fisher got her nose broken, her shoulder to the nose. So while she was off in the box getting mended, that's where we've seen a number of the players having to be rotated through those different spots. So great to see Kira Fisher back out here. She was outstanding for me. She's been the player of the tournament. Also another inclusion, I'll get your thoughts on this, Reece. Sean Wilkie and his impact in terms of leadership, composure, competitiveness.
Got to be honest, Maya, I was shocked in the non-selection yesterday. Series on the line yesterday. They could have sealed it off on a Saturday afternoon. Didn't get selected. He's critical for me. On and off the field, being a leader. He's a top-end player here in New Zealand. Great to see him back in the lineup. I'm fully fizzed for this game. We're ready to go here.
Here it is, New Zealand to tap us off. We've got the number one attacking pod, you'd have to say, Reece, out here for New Zealand. The dew is significantly more than we've seen in the previous days. The ball will be wet. We talk about that focus, that mental focus straight away. 101, that can't happen. Australia, what a start. New Zealand now going to need to fight back into this one early, less than 10 seconds into it, and needing the biggest set of the game. Fifth touch.
Yeah, just unfortunate for Bartz there, losing his footing on that attack play as New Zealand work it off their back. They get to the 7, coming off the back fence, looking for the early wrap on their yardage package. Draw feed. Great defence there from the Australian winger, really dominating that far side. She's been awesome all Test Series. As New Zealand, Wilkie looking to come through with the ball on touch 4. Last touch coming up, Durban Burgess checking off. He'll look to go off the deck.
We've seen again, really strong touch, didn't we, Reece? Every single one of those touches, the Kiwis are coming down. They're getting they're planting right in front of the Australians. They're getting lifted up almost, so that they're halting the momentum at every single stage. It's been a feature of the game, a big difference between these two sides.
Yeah, 100%. Australia on attack again on the goal line here. Good touch there by number 9. Durban Burgess. Completed defensive set, but also a completed set from Australia. New Zealand, here we go. That's their second mistake out of 3 now. Not counting the last set where they couldn't get that completion off the last one, so not an efficient start from New Zealand here, the open mixed, in terms of having the ball. Australia looking to get some fresh subs on here, maybe a new strike attacker. Yeah, and here he comes. Prendergast coming in on the ball, he's in the middle here. Luke Osborne with the storm of play. Back to Prendergast, short ball on the inside, and as I mentioned pre-game, very impressed with Luke Osborne, just his ability to be in the right place at the right time, and there he is. They brought on the fresh legs of Prendergast. Easy play, checks to Prendergast, little step back in, short ball, defender not there for the shut defence. Simple but effective try there. Australia take the early lead.
Simple and probably easy too, right, in terms of pretty much being offered 3 opportunities in that first part of this game by the New Zealand teams, not being able to complete. Just simple errors that you wouldn't expect at this level of the game. Tuakana Hudson, though, you talked about him being one of the hot hands. Now trying to suck that penalty out of this Australian team.
Ralston looking for opportunities here. Really a lot of New Zealand draw a penalty. Australia holding on the line, not being active and moving forward. Really like to see Ralston get on a sweep play here, possibly. Get his low game going, diving and nice and dewy. Will be able to slide a while. Here he goes. He's looking to work out a half, though. Feeds the splitter play to Tuakana Hudson. Good defence from Australia, nice and tight.
They need to get more lateral, don't they, in terms of moving this Australian defence, so that when they step back against the flow, options can open up. Like we see here, gets inside, now looking to link up. Who can we find? Oh, was the touch made early? What's the referee saying? Be interesting here.
Yep, touch called. Sent Ralston around, faked the sweep, went back to the short side. Good option early. Tuakana Hudson plants it, looks for the quickie on the link. Great defence again from Australia. Turnover ball.
One thing I really like about the Australian defence is when a Kiwi player gets in goal, they are always finding it so tough to find an open support player. The Australians, and just how they mirror, they trust each other and they know that someone else will catch up to whoever's got the ball. Strong start, the noise again out of this Australian sub-box, and here she is, the number 10, Hammond, just doing what she does all the time. Sorry, I think that might have been Potts. Excellent work there, Mariana Winiana. Girls were a key component to why New Zealand won that first test match.
Another completed set with good field position from Australia there, solidifies their defensive set as New Zealand look to work towards their sub-box. Good to see that the New Zealand subbers are keen and full of energy. Here comes Wilkie. Wilkie runs the latch, pops it out to Durban Burgess. Durban Burgess looking to open up the field of play. Takes touch 4. Burgess will look to check off. Coming out of half, Wilkie sitting into the passive line. Hits the passive. Great defence from Australia. Got to knock that one down.
Excellent defence. Potts again. Just always in the right space at the right time. It's not by coincidence.
Noticeable difference here with the energy that Wilkie's brought to this lineup as Kurukanga looks to just get a fresh sub on as Wilkie subbed off. Riley Harrison working with McIntyre. McIntyre with Kurukanga. Harrison looked to get to half. McIntyre comes around, fakes the sweep. Kurukanga played it again by Australia. Good defence though.
Good movement though, wasn't it, from the New Zealand team, getting this Australian defence to move laterally. We've seen it on the last set. That's how they got on the end goal.
This group will look to use their feet here, not so much the pass. Looking to feed McIntyre. McIntyre on an early dive. Great defence there. Moffat striking from the linked zone. It's a nice play there.
I know as a referee, when you look up and that link's already up making the touch, when the players only had the ball for 2 steps, you think, oh, did I miss that? These referees are calmed up, so you'd think that they wouldn't.
McIntyre planting the ball. Here goes Kurukanga on the step back dive. Great touch. Gee, they make it look so easy. Sometimes it looked like he hadn't made the touch.
Yeah.
Beautiful defence here. Great defence by Australia. Last touch play. McIntyre on the sweep. Looks for his low game. No touch on one. Other Australian player there was there to make the touch. Good defensive set. As Australia, they continue to go through the middle. They're not changing what's not broke.
See how fluid this Australian team is on yards. Normally when I say something like that, they drop the ball. But the pressure that they're putting the New Zealand team under, defensively, just having to roll back the whole time. Robinson doesn't like their call, asking both referees what's happening there.
Really been impressed with Pond, the winger here, Jade Pond. Her work at dummy half, especially on the box side, is really tidy. Here he goes again, Osborne. He's the hot hand for Australia. And there it is again. Oh, gee, I don't mean to pump my own tyres here, but he's been an obvious standout for me over the last couple of days. You know, physically imposing, and once again, you know, that's a 35-40 metre left-hand spiral, and there is no breeze to help him today. Just a great setup from Australia there.
We normally add a little bit of GST onto the length of those passes there, but that was genuinely 35 to 40 metres. You referred to him yesterday as the tallest man to ever play touch. Tell you what, he can do it all. This time, Durban Burgess. Just that wet ball, not having the ability to catch and pass. Good shutdown defence there again from the Australian winger.
Wilkie in at half, feeds Burgess. Durban Burgess on the dive.
It's amazing with his speed, isn't it, Durban Burgess? At no point was he on the outside of the Australian defender, but he just gets the ball, turns on the gas, and they just can't keep up with him. Oh, great call there from referee Heat. It looked at live like it might have been a touch. You could clearly see it wasn't. Fantastic work.
Oh, nothing more justifying as a referee when you make a close call and you see the replay. You should be proud of that call, especially live at this speed. As Australia make up their first mistake of the day off the tap-off, can New Zealand capitalise on this opportunity to lock this one up?
Change in body language from this New Zealand team. Shoulders back. They just seem to have that little bit more confidence now. They're into the game, found their rhythm. Pōkaiawa comes to the short side. McIntyre decides to go back. Yes, I thought there was going to be a penalty there, and that was probably from the previous touch, actually. Just playing advantage, which is what we want to see. Play-throughs, play-ons. With no advantage has been made coming back. Pōkaiawa now, what does he do? 2 penalties now. 1 more, and Australia will be down 2-3. Sorry, down to 5.
Kurukanga looking to plant for McIntyre, feeds him straight back. Kurukanga looking for a dive.
I just think New Zealand need to play with the ball outside the 7-metre line. Really work to get this next penalty. 3 consecutive ones. That's what it looks like they're trying to do here now. McIntyre, what does he do?
6 more there, defensive player. Demanding from the referee that he wasn't playing at the ball. Good gamesmanship here from Australia. They know that the battle's on here. There's 3 penalties. You want to run us through, explain this one for us, Maya?
Yeah, 3 consecutive penalties against the defensive team down on the scoreline means that the last person to be penalised will be removed to the side of the field. New Zealand must score here, but again, I'm not sure about this being static in the middle. That's why I'm in the commentary box, and they're out on the field because McIntyre to Pōkaiawa. Look at that combination, Tuakana Harris, Pōkaiawa and McIntyre. We haven't seen that at all over the last 2 days. The 3 best attackers in this team, absolutely. And we see a nice simple try here. Obviously Australia down to 5. New Zealand, good work.
Great IQ there from that group out there, knowing that they had to get the play alive. And that was Kurukanga's opportunity with a step-back dive out of Ngāti Hine. He'll be very proud of his whakapapa and his ability there. Great work as Australia. We'll look to hit back, like the looks of the setup here with the lobby play. Oh, it's a beautiful pass. I'm hearing forward pass coming from the grandstands. But it's that lobby play again. They call it the lobby play. Max Hughes will be checking in live. It's the pump fake and the little drop over the top of the link that lifts into the lane. You'll see it beautifully here. Osborne being the setter this time. It's that same combination as they scored in the first try. Prendergast, beautiful little play. It's a play that we don't see very often because of how hard it is to execute.
3-2, game on. Both of these teams now absolutely at full steam. Tuakana Hudson, we've seen him be instrumental in the previous touchdown for New Zealand. McIntyre out here with again.
I like what they're doing here, Mai. They're really trying to draw another penalty. McIntyre with the Stormer plate.
Do you put that in the piggy bank in terms of, that Potts is going to lift real early instead of Tuakana Hudson going towards the scoreline? Maybe he can just be a little bit flatter on the out?
Yeah, 100%. And that'll probably need to come from the coaches because these players are at such high intensity now. Very hard to pick up. That'll be something that the coaches need to feed in to their players as an option. As Australia work the ball through the middle of the field. Good gamesmanship again there. It's a risky play going for that little wee fake touch. Well played there by New Zealand to get the ball back midfield. You talked about the combinations and the pods system there, Maya, earlier, and I think New Zealand have got to bang on. I'm really liking these combinations that they're sending out in the middle of the field. And here comes the strike team. Hopefully Wilkie can get his opportunity to really mix up this game. Durban Burgess checks back in. Wilkie on the sweep. Fakes the sweeper. Looking to hit the goal, looking to crush back to the kill side of the Australian defence on last touch. Great defence again by Australia. Looks like a heavy touch, but that's how wingers roll these days.
Absolutely. Stephanie Maiolo, great read, opportunity now. Does this pod change? We see straight away Wilkie and Durban Burgess going straight to the sub box, coming on. Pokaioa, McIntyre. Definitely playing, you talked about the right people in the right space at the right time, Reese.
Yeah, unfortunately, just an early sub there, subbing off on attack. But when you lose one of your three players in the middle of the field there and he wants to sub off, you kind of got to burn one. So that's not a bad play there. That's very smart attack. Tuakana Hudson in with a new group now. So you've got Hudson, Kutukanga, McIntyre work in the middle. Tuakana Hudson with the pump fake, hits the link, drop over the top. Oh, just couldn't quite get it in her hands for that extra pass and shifted the ball on, but just didn't have enough steam on it.
I haven't heard who you were out having breakfast with this morning. I'm waiting to hear who you were, what advice you gave, and see those changes out on field.
No, it was. I was so fired up about today's games. Maya, she was after the gym, just had a little bit of breakfast myself, and nice early start here. But Australia making another mistake, putting penalties on halfway, which must mean there was an illegal subbing occurred. Another mistake. That's 3 incomplete sets from Australia now.
I don't want to say the comment I'm about to, but I have to. I expected there to be a lot more drop balls. The dew is real heavy out there. I expected to see a lot more people slipping over too. So to both teams' credit, they've controlled the ball well, considering just probably was passing that before she caught it, wasn't she? She knew that the winger was going to come up. She wanted to tip that on.
Yeah, Durban Burgess there created an opportunity. The only difference was they were attacked back to the guy link. Predominantly just has that little bit of defensive nous than what you would see from the other side. But they've made another mistake, Australia. Coaching staff will have to identify this at halftime. What I've also noticed, Maya, is the rotation is a lot quicker. I really want to see Ralston get involved here on attack. Here he is. He'll work well with Kutukanga and Tuakana Hudson out of the Bay of Plenty. Looking to fake Ralston again. Goes from half, dummy half touch. Referee's blowing a penalty.
Offside there from the link player. Unfortunately, he sort of played advantage, Tuakana Hudson, but didn't get to the ball. I think everyone sort of stopped. What's been interesting, the last 3 times down here, New Zealand when throwing a long ball, it's been to the link channel. So I wonder if they know that the Australian wingers are going to shut hard and now they can potentially throw all the way to the wing. Here's your man. You wanted him more involved. You wanted him on the sweep. Here he goes on that sweep.
Got to give it to him early. No, fake side, left-hand ball by Pokaioa, Kutukanga. Covering defence on the step back by the New Zealand winger.
What a touch. That is an outstanding effort. We talk about 35-metre long balls. I think he's come across. I'd love to get his number. The number 11 there for Australia.
Prendergast again.
He chased that down from miles away. He had no right to get there, and that's the commitment and effort. We'll see it here. Look at him in the middle of the field. That pass has gone 30 metres to come back in, and in the space of Winiana needing to go 2 metres, he's gone 30. That's an effort, and that's how you win games, moments like that.
Prendergast and Osborne are really dominating this game for Australia. They've been integral in terms of their performance and how they've gotten Australia to this 3-2 lead as they work the ball through the middle here. Bartz, I really like to see Bartz start getting on the ball a wee bit more as they go out of half. Bartz gets to Link ball there, drops it over the line, but it's a completed set down here in the corner here. New Zealand have to work the ball across the end of the field.
There's a lot more chat from the players towards all the referees, isn't there? This series is definitely alive. These players, they want it, obviously. A lot more asking of what that decision was for, not so much compliance. Wilkie, again, great to see him back in this team. Oh, that's an excellent guard there. Tamatea Winiana gives the Urban Burgess the chance with his speed, but no, a great touch. Tim Bartz.
Yeah, Bartz, he says he's not getting as much ball as he would probably like on attack, but man, he's doing some great work through the middle of the field in terms of yards and the defensive efforts like that. That's probably why he's with leadership as Australia. That was a good hard touch there by New Zealand, good physical touch. Really liking the energy that Wilkie's brought into this lineup.
Yep, that's exactly what he's there for. Leadership on the yards, leadership on defence, and that composure in the box. New Zealand get in front and start making touches in front, and we see these things, turnovers, stopping momentum. Hope that continues for them. That's what the Australians have been doing.
Yeah, McIntyre there, just a little bobble, little slip. This group here, there's a good combination here. Kurukanga looking to go out of half. Quick release play off the right hand. Great defence again by Australia. You're right, they're looking to go to that link channel there, and it's not quite working for New Zealand. They're going to have to mix up their game a wee bit here on attack as Australia continue to pound the ball down the orange zone of the field. Orange zone being the middle. A little bit off the mark there. There's Prendergast planting the ball.
Here he is.
Osborne checks back in.
He touches the ball. Australia score tries. He comes back. Nice lift. Nice lift. Strong there. Will try and be called off, both players.
Mariana Wiriana is putting her body on the line for her country. She's coming out the back end. I think she's a little bit injured, but she's looking for an early sub as the medical team come on. That's not going to stop Rolleston. I really want him to get involved in on attack here. He's such a dynamic attacker. It's Tuakana Hudson plants the ball.
You hear the Australian box calling for 7 on. Winiana hadn't made it back to the box, got off the side of the field. Oh, an accidental tip on. Fantastic hands, Dina. Yeah, just a little bit sloppy there on the finishes for New Zealand.
Completed set though, Maya. Great work from New Zealand. That's 5 completed sets in a row.
Minutes ago, they cannot let Australia score. We've seen Australia score. What's going on here? Don't run into a fight you probably don't want to be part of. As you just see the Australians and New Zealanders there. Bit of gamesmanship here now. Referees need to take control of this. There's absolutely no need for this to have happened. The number 5 from Australia has held on to the ball. Players can't go up and rip it off again. Look at this, time taking off the clock. Referees need to be smart here. This is a very smart play from the Australian side. They're taking away any opportunity that the New Zealand team now has to go score a touchdown. At best, they're going to get 2 touches.
Bartz ain't no rookie. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's for his country. He's just burned a good 45, 50 seconds. Forced sub. They'll look to kill this ball. This will be the last play. Tuakana Hudson checks it off to Durban Burgess. Looking for the late cut. Coming back here to the right-hand side of the field. Late cut again. Tuakana Hudson. And there's the touch and there's the half-time mile.
There, the hooter went. The score's 3-2. I'm surprised that the referees of this standard allowed that to take place. However, it is what it is. Australia deserved 1 touchdown lead into this first half. We'll be back with you in just a moment for the second half. Oh, no ad breaks actually, Reece. They love our beautiful tones here for the whole game now, not just with a little break in the middle. I just want to talk about that incident we've seen at the end. What's your thought? As a coach, you're coaching in the New Zealand sub-box. What are you thinking around how that situation was handled? One, in terms of how it was handled, and two, the outcome of the situation.
Well, I've coached it. If I'm to be honest with you, Maya, if you've got a lead at the back end of a half or back end of a game, leadership, do everything you can to slow the momentum, especially when you're in your red zone. I think the referees could have been maybe a little bit more active, knowing the status of the game, the series, and that every second in this game is going to be critical. So, in saying that, though, well played. Great gamesmanship by the Australians. But, I'm really impressed. As you can see, Kutakanga there, that was when Australia were down to 5, forced to the sideline after 3 penalties. But for me, here you can see Prendergast. There's the lobby plate to the chopping link. Ralston was expecting his winger to be there. And Osborne's been Prendergast again. But Osborne's been great for me all series. That there is a great example of what these New Zealand players are willing to do for their team and their country at the moment. It's 3-2, they're down by 1, but it's on. Little bit of scuffle there. Yeah,
to go back to this situation, we're always coached, if you're going to blow your whistle in top time, make sure you get an outcome. Now, we've had 3 players run in from both teams. One player wouldn't give the ball over, the other player shouldn't have come in and pulled it off. We can't just end with a chili bin there. It can't be a chili bin. I completely agree. Take the time you need to make sure you get the right outcome. But what was that outcome? I don't see that being an outcome. A chili bin. Halftime was going to be in 30 seconds anyway, so the coach could have talked to him then in terms of the essence of a chili bin. So, I just think you probably expected that to be handled a little bit differently than that, but I just take my hat off to the Australian team. They didn't come up with that on the spot. That's how they roll. They're just so smart. They see these pitches. They're involved in these scenarios all the time. Anyway, back to the game. It is 3-2. New Zealand are down by 1. Started a little bit sloppy, but, mate, they come really fighting back into it and towards the end of that first half, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And I'm pretty sure the Australian coaching staff would have been talking about their poor percentage in terms of completions. Now, I don't have a statistician on me, but my unofficial one had them at 5 completed sets from 11. Still got the lead, though, so they'll be thinking about their basics, their fundamentals, and just completing sets in this test to wrap up the series.
It's not like there's anything glaringly obvious for both teams that they need to work on, isn't it? It's just being more accurate in all those aspects. Here he is again, number 8 for Australia, Luke Osborne. His flick pass is 20 metres, Reece.
He's been great. As they come here, they're looking for a strike. Stalling the defence, a little bit stacked, looking to open it up. Coming in for the 3-3 peel. Turns around. Prendergast there, he is the hot hand. Go to him every time, keep going back to the well. Unable to score there. Completed set, though, starting the second half from Australia. Coaches will be happy with that as New Zealand draw a penalty. Durban Burgess there with all his experience at club level, provincial level. Also being in the New Zealand Open men's and now in the Open mixed.
Great to see Mariana Winiana back out there. We've seen her having to hobble off there after that, putting her body on the line in that touchdown. Harrison with McIntyre. Wasn't expecting that one. What can this pod come up with here? McIntyre around the back door, gets the ball.
Yeah, just on those quick bounce plays there. Osborne seeing it from the far side there, able to blindside that play. Great defence. Very experienced player, and he's shown that in this game once again. As Australia look to have those first 2 hits through the middle of the field, Prendergast brings it to the sub-box. Great work there from the Australian dummy half, looking for an option. Play that by New Zealand, no. Again, gamesmanship coming into play there by the leadership of New Zealand. McIntyre. This pod will look to get the ball to the other side so they can sub to the sub-box. Australia, incomplete set. New Zealand looking to solidify this attacking set. New strikers on. Tuakana Hudson, hot hand on day 1. Gets the ball back. Looking to get Rolleston around. Takes Rolleston again on a little wee Georgie play on the in. Ball down. For me, I'd rather just see Rolleston get it in his hands nice and early on that sweep and really test that defensive link. As Australia, don't want to sound like a broken record, but I can feel the energy coming out of the sub-box and on the field there that they're not happy with the way that they're getting their sets underway. That's another incompleted set as Tuakana Hudson remains on the field. Ralston is subbed off, which means this pod will be mixed up a wee bit here. Tuakana Hudson works his way off. They'll be looking for a short play, quickie play. Good defence by Australia.
Yeah, great defence there again. Potts, she just reads it so well. New Zealand are going to need to find a way to understand what she does defensively and trying to beat her on that outside. She was matched up against one of the boys. Again, they go the short side, back to the left-hand side. But once again, it was going to be covered even if Dina did catch that ball. Stephanie Maiolo had it safely under control. Much better set here from Australia. Reese going back into their work, been a little bit more controlled.
Yeah, 100% Bart's here, looking to plant on last. Scoop into the open side. Check, check. All you could hear from the Australian sub-box there from their coaching staff and their leadership was to complete the set. Set completion, but still they're under 50% here unofficially, the Australians. New Zealand are in this one at 3-2, Maya. Looking to go forward. That's all you need is that first one to get it down the middle of the field. There's a mistake from New Zealand. You can definitely tell that the pressure's on. I'm not going to put this down to ground conditions, Maya. Pressure of this game is heating up.
Yeah, well, it's scoreboard and clock now, right? You're in the second half. This is the last 16 minutes of this series. You're down by one. But again, you can't chase the game. You must make sure that you stick to the process, trust the game plan.
Really like what John Dusto, referee, just did there. He was going to blow a penalty for rolling, but wanted to see how the play developed. And then when they dropped the ball, here's a quickie play. Good defence from New Zealand. Ball down, Australia.
Just need to stay out of that. Do the Kiwis. Keep your mind on the game. We've seen this too often. I've reffed a many a game where Australians can just, run past and barge out. For them, it means nothing. But the Kiwis, sometimes it can get us off our game plan.
Ooh. All you can hear from both sub-boxes is complete. Now, Whānau out there, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's about finishing your set and getting the ball down the other end of the field. As New Zealand look to go off last, McIntyre.
Ball to ground, I think, from that signal from the referee. Australia, good set of defence. Just need to be composed here. New Zealand don't want to give away any penalties.
Get your drop-off team ready, Maya, early. 14 and a half minutes to go. This has got some real energy about it, this game, and rightly so. Series on the line. Trans Tasman Anzac weekend. Prendergast checks off to Osborne. That's the hot grouping. Looking to feed the outside. New Zealand winger collapses on defence.
Sort of a mission impossible situation for Tiana Tito. You see the New Zealand link come in and make the touch. She's turning around. The winger knows that she's beaten Tito. Tries to hold as long as she can to help, realises she needs to make the touch, and at that point, simple draw and pass out to the wing for a touchdown for Australia. They now go out 4-2. Talked about the clock pressure on the New Zealand team. If it was pressure with one down, two down now.
Here we go. We've got the best seat in the house here, Maya, on the far side of the field. Tuakana Hudson get in the game. Here we go, Ralston. He'll be looking maybe for a quickie play at link. No, splits infield. Still gets the ball, checks off to the link. Play that by Australia. No, penalty. Completed set. Good to see Ralston staying on the field here.
Seems as if the referees are starting to now pick up the links that are shooting up. That penalty there for Potts leaving early. So it'll be interesting to see now what play New Zealand do. See if they can get a play through on that side.
Not too sure what the call's going to be.
Forward pass off
from dummy half.
Forward pass off the ruck.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where I'm pretty sure every sweep play the pass is forward, but it's been called on New Zealand, unfortunately, there. Australia with an away set. A little bit surprise tactic. When I say away set, it means they take the first couple of touches away from their own sub-box. Good surprise tactic. Get fresh players on. Keeping New Zealand defence honest, and there's good field position here on the 3-2 platform. Checking back to the link. Sorry, the 3-3 there.
He was probably in. Joshua Moffat didn't realise that. He'd beaten the New Zealand defender. Couldn't quite see with the camera angle how tight that short side was. 3 Australians in the space of 7 metres.
Often happens, you don't realise how close you are, and I didn't mean to rub salt in the wound yesterday, but Terry Davis, I reckon he was in, and then men's game, here's another one. Back to this game here, sorry. Bart's. Yeah, can feel he's just Not questioning the referee, but acknowledging that, gee, that must have been a close call. Really like their setup here. Bart's coming from the right-hand side of the field, trying to sweep to the left. Coming off the ground. Oh. Such a simple play there, but a beautiful understanding of positioning. I like the way Bart's worked his way from the right-hand side of the field to the left. Fake the splitter. And it's not even like a passive line. McIntyre unable to get into the passing lane there. As soon as he saw the ball go past him, he knew that he was cooked. New Zealand really need to fight back here. Australia now taking a commanding 5-2 lead here in this series decider. Wilkie on the ball. Dummy half coming in. Wilkie will be scheming. Burgess looking to sweep early. Burgess getting the ball, steps back to the right-hand side. Wilkie unable to control the ball. Referee John Dusto in his final international test blows the penalty for New Zealand.
Robinson coming on. Seen after that penalty, Wilkie straight to the sub-box. Tamatea almost looked like he wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, well, Robinson come on. I don't know if they got a call, and yeah, you're right. Does he expect it? Gamesmanship.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen so many voluntary roll balls in a game of touch, let alone the one at the top.
Yeah, 11 minutes to go in a series decider. You've got to do everything. And New Zealand's attack, they really need to tidy this up. I like this lineup. Kurukanga, Tuakana Hudson, out of the Bay of Plenty. Kurukanga, Ngāti Hine, Ralston, coming into half. He's wanting the ball on the splitter play. He wants his dive.
Just eyes off the ball, aren't we? We're scoring the touchdown before we've caught the ball. We've seen that a couple of times here at the New Zealand teams. That real urgency to get the ball down has just made us take our eye off the ball. Strong touch there. Goes down to the right-hand side. Draw and pass. That looks so simple. You wonder why we haven't done that more often, Reece.
Look, I've been calling Rollison to be heavily involved in the attack, and here he comes again with a different type of play, but it's the fake, the quickie, it's the OZ play, we call it here in New Zealand, allowing Rollison to attack the female link. Winger shots, easy draw feed. It may look simple, but it was a very tidy play. Beautiful play by Rollison, Tuakana, Hudson, Kurukanga. Well set up.
Jones now out here for Australia. Nice pick up there from Jones. What can he and Moffat do in conjunction with Mills? Mills goes back door. Jones up to Moffat. Moffat goes under. Does he get in? Referee saying no. Defender was onside. Just setting this Kiwi defence up, aren't they? I love the way how they sequence through their plays, moving the defence to the parts of the field they want. Now sweeping back this side. Nice touch there, Durban Burgess.
Great touch by Durban Burgess. He was communicating that whole defensive set. Ralston, he attacked for 3 sets down the other end and put his hand up to defend that set. He's really putting it in for his country, as is Durban Burgess. Great yardage set here, beginning. Half the job's done here. Kurukanga checks it off. Here comes McIntyre. Good drive. Kurukanga will look to scoop off the back end of this as he takes the cornering shot. Yep, hand in there. Oh. Gee, a recount there would have been handy for New Zealand.
I think it's probably an even up from the earlier 6 again that New Zealand got. Harrison getting in front, which is good, just a little bit too aggressive for that one, and the Australians will always make sure the referee sees the picture they want him to. Here he is, Bart's.
Next 3 minutes is huge for New Zealand. Defensive stop needed here on a strike off the back end. Kurukanga makes a touch. Got to be in there. Oh, what a tap on by the Australian link player.
That is skill level 100 right there. We see this pass. It was at pace and just flicks it on. It didn't go to her feet. It didn't go above her head. It went straight to where she was. She had plenty of space, but she got as close to the scoreline as she needed to. Excellent touchdown. I think that was the number 13, Jade Pond. Back up by 3. The mountain has just doubled in size for New Zealand. Calm heads now, Reece, who's the key 2 players in this New Zealand team that...
Yeah, Durban Burgess needs to be on the field as much as possible now. Kate Ralston, really like what he's been doing in this test with limited ball in the first two. There he is again. He's looking to I think he's actually putting his hand up to do a lot more defence than New Zealand would like, because he's such a good strike player as Australia coming in on the ball. Little wee follow play there with the scoop in, ineffective, but at the end of the day, the coaching staff, as I know, will be happy with another completed set from Australia. Their completion has been a lot better in the second half.
Strong start to this set for New Zealand. Just that momentum again. Leaving yourself vulnerable. 2 hands on the ball. It is Dewey. Again, we see it. This is the set touch now. 5th one. Devin Burgess, can his speed make something out of nothing for New Zealand? Now he's got to link up. Catches and passes. Tamatia Wiriana in support. Devin Burgess, again, he has no right to be able to create the things he does. It's simply his speed. He's just 2 metres faster than everyone else. Has the ability, while running 100 miles an hour, to turn around, pass behind him, the opposite way he's running to, and it was a fantastic catch and put down. Back now, down to 2, 6 minutes to go.
Beautifully set a 6 called there, Maya Williams. Great play, I called it. Devin Burgess needed to be on the ball. Gee, the Canterbury crowd would have seen that many a time back in the day. Looked very Leon Skinner-esque, just picking it up, tucking it under the wing, and off he went, using his speed. Here come Australia. 6-4 up, still relatively comfortable lead, as they're looking to just control their attack. Coming into the middle of the field, trying to draw New Zealand up here. New Zealand rolling back onto the goal line there, not called penalty. Feeding this crossover, step back into the dive. Referee awards the try there.
Yeah, well done there from Cox. I thought they were unlucky not to get the penalty. It was actually well refereed to play advantage. I'm sure if they didn't get across here, they would have went back. See him step off his right foot and just gets that ball down easily in time before Harrison gets there. Harrison, no argument. He knew too. Well done, Cox. Him and Bart, though, and they're out together. She's pretty dangerous. Apologies for the creative language you might be hearing in the back. A very clear instructions from the Australian box. Don't shut up shop.
Don't shut up shop. They'll just keep going, these Aussies. That's how they roll. 7-4. It's a comfortable lead. New Zealand have to strike here. Kudukanga looking to come out of half. Feeds to Gunnar Hunton on a quick release to McIntyre for a dive. Once again, arguably my player of the series for Australia. Number 8, Osborne. He's been influential on yards, defence and attack. He's got plenty of energy. Tuakana Hudson checks off to Kudukanga. Kudukanga takes one touch there. McIntyre bows himself in. Kudukanga on the sweep. Fake the sweep. On the bounce out. Kudukanga. Ball down. It was a nice replay there. Unable to hold the ball. Gusto in his last test at this level.
Again, good gamesmanship here from the Australian team. It's just smart play, composure, knowing the clock is on their side. Now they'll just be controlled. You heard them talk about don't shut up shop. They'll still express themselves on the end of this. Potts, another strong yard from her. Mills now sets things up for Jones. Comes out to this right-hand side. Ooh, they had him. Maiolo could have caught that one. They would have been in once again. 3 minutes to go. They're probably going to get about 4 sets each here, Reese. Similar situation to yesterday, needing to be perfect at both ends. Able to get back into this one.
Here come New Zealand working the ball. Tuakana Hudson driving the ball well. Looks in great condition for being late April here in New Zealand. Devin Burgess again. Just needs the back of speed again and go off the deck. Looks for the short side passive play. Draw feed by Wilkie. And you could see the physical disappointment with the ball going down. Huge opportunity there for New Zealand to get closer to Australia as they check off. Australia are using the ball well here on yards, and they just keep going forward. Man, they've got plenty of energy still late in this game.
Both teams, that was an excellent first 3 touches, defensively and attack. New Zealand sending 2 up. Australia getting around the outside.
Australia just looking to complete the set. Great defence there by number 2, Mariana Winiana. Took an early knock, but she's out there working hard for her country here. 7-4 to Australia.
Reece, we've seen the Australians do an away set. Does New Zealand need to throw something different at them here rather than to the box, using up 3 touches, then coming on and really only one strike off a pick.
Yeah, well, I know the coaching staff use it in a lot of other teams, so there's Bart's there. As we saw Bart's in the last minute of the first half, great gamesmanship as a leader, as the captain continuing to talk to referee Dusto having nothing of it. Bart's here, leading the defensive set, getting off the line, trying to win the 8. Rolling back in. There's a penalty again from Dusto. Good to see we're on the same page, Chief.
Smart again, though. Like, this will take 30 seconds each time. It's just that IQ that's at a different level than I think for the majority of our teams by these Australian teams.
Dusto calling Bart's offside, but the shut defender there, he was there in time. Badly Russell.
Not the ref to mess around with down here. But can New Zealand expose this shortness of numbers? We just passed the ball along the front of the 7-metre line while they're able to man up. What can Robinson do now with Tuakana Hudson? Forward pass off the ruck, it looks like, or no, just a
ball down.
Ball to ground.
Ball down, Tuakana Hudson, and able to maintain position as he slid the ball over the line.
A minute to go, Reece. The series is done. It's Australia's. They probably had a quieter start for them. Game 1, Game 2, they were outstanding. And Game 3, they've just kept that standard, haven't they? One of the players for Australia looks like he's concussed in the back there. He's wobbly on his feet.
Yeah, he's cooked. He's cooked out the back, but back on play here on the screen. So definitely taken a head knock. Come in, New Zealand player, not sure who it was, came in with a heavy touch. Support staff have come from everywhere for Australia to help the player off the field. A little bit of a chuckle now. Turnover ball from Australia. A little bit of pride on the line in this last 20 seconds. Winiana trying to work with Durban Burgess. Deutsch play on the out. Little wee short ball played out by Australia. No, ball down. And by no surprise, my player of the series, not only this match, but my player of the series for Australia, Luke Osborne, he's been instrumental. And as you can see him celebrating as he comes off the field.
The clock's down to 0. Once again, the clock not quite being what the actual official time is. There we see the hooter. We see the Australians once again at the end of a test series running out from the sub-box to embrace each other in another Trans Tasman Test Series, winning the third game 7-4. Australia victors, and Reece, they deserved it, didn't they? We've seen that first game. New Zealand come out. It looked like they had a different game plan. They were hot. They hit the ground running. We looked at the Australian performance. They got better as they went on. Again, 9 debutants in this mixed team. But game 2, that was just a completely different team. And it seemed, for me anyway, and again, that's why I'm not in the coaching box, but it was the energy, the purpose, the intention, the connection that Australian team had. The body language was different between both teams in the second game and the third game. Your summary, your sort of key points as to why this Australian team has come out victors for 2025?
Look, as a New Zealander, I've got a little bit of disappointment, but as a touch enthusiast and a coach at an international level now, you got to acknowledge the turnaround from Test 1. Australia made a few adjustments to the New Zealand game plan. They put it in place, comprehensive winners in Test 2, Test 3, just their energy and their enthusiasm, as you said, and their ability to attack. Well done, Australia. Well-deserved Test Series on Anzac weekend.
There we see the score, 7-4, Australia 2025 Trans Tasman Test Series victors. 10:10 is the next tap-off for our Open Women's game. Be back just before that as we'll start to share some of our thoughts in terms of pre-game. Don't go too far. See you then.